see my Legos? I built them.
I was looking at them and I'm like, which ones have been here
So
already?
this one has been here. I built this one like 2 weeks ago.
So wait, the Infinity Gauntlet?
That one I built like last weekend.
Okay.
You can adjust the fingers. Pretty cool.
Oh, that is cool. Wow.
And then the baby
Can you
Yoda.
name each of the stones? Nerd test?
No, I can't.
Time, reality, power,
Reality.
soul.
There's 6.
Life?
The life stone?
No. I don't know, actually. I don't know them. Power?
The
Did I say
time
that?
stone?
Time stone's a real one.
Did you say that though?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
Time, power, reality, soul.
Mind
Stone sounds right.
Mind stone?
What's the red one? That's the power
That's
one,
the
right?
power one, I thought.
What's the purple one then? Isn't that one the power stone?
That's the...
I don't know them. I'm not a real fucking nerd.
Yeah, no, because
There's 20 movies about this.
they didn't really make the whole collecting the stones thing like easy on anybody.
No, they didn't.
And it's even harder to kind of think about like where they've been in the movies, you know?
Yeah. I remember that was like a huge thing. It's like, oh, what stone is going to be in this movie or
Because I
whatever.
forgot like that one of them was like in Captain America. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I guess there was one in like the second Thor movie.
Yeah, that was the red one.
So anyway, then this is the Tradewaiters podcast. We're a comic book club. We read a different trade paperback every week.
Yeah, we do.
I'm Daniel. You're Nathan. We're brothers. We read comics.
We sure do. How's it going, Daniel?
It's another week, isn't it?
Yes, it
It's
is.
going good. I was really excited about today's episode for no real reason. It just feels like I'm just always excited for pod day.
It's going to feel good, you know?
Yeah.
We got our Red Bulls. When I was going to get the Red Bulls, there was a guy just hanging out outside.
Giving away Red Bulls.
Not giving away Red Bulls, but he had a shirt that said MILF Hunter.
Nice.
And I wouldn't peg him as much of a MILF hunter myself, but I'm glad that he is telling everybody so that MILFs can run away.
He probably gets some leads from that shirt.
I would
know?
assume so.
Did he look like he was on duty, like on the hunt?
Maybe. Maybe that's what he was doing. Standing next to a cool car, talking to someone that was driving the cool car. So I don't know. His whole deal was interesting to me, but I got us Red Bulls, so we should be good to go.
Did you get him a Red Bull?
No.
So he can have the
So he could
energy
stay
from
up.
MILF hunting?
So he could stay up and hunt the MILFs
That's when the MILFs come out.
Yeah.
At night.
when they're done being MILFs at home.
Yeah.
They're nocturnal.
Yeah. Anyway, we got some segments like, how to MILF hunt. We have...
That's a new segment this
Yep.
week.
It's going to be every week from now on. We got Back Matter Matters, the poll list, the book, but what do we start with?
The news. This is the comic book news.
Yeah, specifically.
We talk about the news that happened that somehow relate to comic books in some way. We stretch it a little far sometimes.
I'm going to be stretching it pretty far today.
Okay, let's hear those first then.
Hey, then we got a trailer for the movie Renfield. And that is a movie with that dude who played Beast in the younger ones.
Yeah.
And it's got Nicolas Cage as Dracula.
Okay.
And there's Dracula comics, Nathan. But what connects us even more to comics, Nathan, is that Robert Kirkman is listed as a writer, but not like him writing the screenplay. It's based off of an idea that he had. That's what it says on IMDb.
Okay, so he's
Based
come
on
up
an
with the
idea by.
concept.
I guess so, yeah. So it's about this kid who is like an assistant for Dracula, like brings him bodies and stuff.
Oh, that's
to drink.
nice.
Yeah, and he goes to like a group therapy thing where he talks about toxic workplace environments.
What the fuck?
And it's like, and I guess Dracula gives him something to where he has like powers almost, or just like heightened abilities.
He's like a herald.
Kind of, yeah. And Nicolas Cage dressed up as like Dracula and doing that is like something I felt like I needed in life.
I saw like a promo image of Renfield, and I saw that it was Nicolas, or I didn't know that it was Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, that's how good he looks.
Yeah, he does look really good. So that is such a weird idea. It doesn't sound like it would come from Robert Kirkman. Also, how did he like sell did he sell it? Did he get money off
I have
it?
no fucking clue.
So.
I just saw that randomly.
I'm very confused.
But it looks cool. I'm excited for it. It looks like just like a action comedy kind of thing.
Yeah. Dope.
Speaking of trailers, Nathan,
What other trailers we got?
we got a new Ant-Man trailer.
Yeah.
Did you look at it?
Let's skip all the bullshit. We got a MODOK.
We got MODOK.
He's got big face.
He's got a big face. That's all we wanted.
Big face, little arms.
He's got big face, big armor, big face armor.
Big face armor.
Big
I'm not
mask.
a huge fan. I just want big face.
Just give us straight to the face.
Who's that actor? Do you know?
We don't know.
Okay.
I think people are guessing that it's like the dude who played Yellow Jacket
Oh, weird. Okay.
in the first one. I guess like when he got all shrunken up, he went into the quantum realm or whatever.
Have you seen that picture of like him without the face
mask?
armor?
Yeah.
It looked like Andy Serkis or something.
Very well could be.
Okay. People were like mad at that. I saw because his face didn't look fucked up enough.
It definitely just looked like someone zoomed in on his face.
Yeah.
You know?
But I'm cool with that. I just want big face with little arms and a floating man, you know?
Yeah.
I don't mind if it's not like a fucked up deformed face.
Because like, or I was hoping it was going to be something like in the vein of like Thanos, where it's not Josh Brolin's face, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
You know? And so they just stretch it to whatever they need it to be and make him look however they need him to look. And it's kind of based off of whoever's voice acting, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Because he's not going to be in it. He's not in some suit or anything.
Yeah.
He's just phoning it in. Mm-hmm. So,
Yep.
anyway, that's good. That's all. That's the only thing that really mattered about that trailer.
Yeah, this is just MODOK. I forgot that he was going to be in it. So that was a nice surprise. Damn, some real comic news.
Okay.
There's going to be like a new Guardians of the Galaxy book that returns to comic book shelves in April
Nice.
with Jackson Lansing, Colin Kelly, Kev Walker, and Matt Hollingsworth. And they're going to start with like a storyline called Groot Fall. And everybody looks Western. I don't know if you've seen like the promo image, but it looks like a huge like Western sort of story.
Wow, it looks great.
Yeah, it does look really good actually.
Wait, who's on it again? Sorry.
It is Jackson Lansing,
Okay.
drawn by Kev Walker and Matt Hollingsworth.
I love Kev Walker.
What has he done?
Predator.
Okay.
And
Sounds good.
Hasn't he done something that we've... But no, Kev Walker, he was on... I think he did... No, he did Dr. Aphra. That's what he did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, he was good on that.
Yeah, he's great.
He's good at space stuff.
Does that mean Predator's ending?
No, Predator's still going.
But he's the artist, Nathan. How does that make sense?
They switch him out.
Damn.
I don't know.
Anyway.
So that's pretty cool. Also, Jock teased a little thing. It says, he posted a picture. It says Chit Chit, which is like part of the witches.
Oh, yes.
So he's
Some
probably
more
doing
witches.
some more witches. He's tagged Scott Snyder, so he's part of it too, obviously.
They had a Halloween like prestige issue thing come out quite a few years after the original trade. Mm-hmm. I bought it, haven't read it. It's in here somewhere. But that was like the only thing. It was the only thing that they'd released from that universe. So it's cool that they're doing more because that shit's the best.
It was really good.
Yeah.
We have an episode on it, in fact.
Sure do. Go back, listen.
Yeah, part of our Halloween month where we read a bunch of scary books.
I'm already seeing like all these like horror books that I didn't know about or stuff that's coming out. And I'm already so excited for our next horror month.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, because I wasn't sure what we were going to do. I thought we were going to run out.
No, dude, we're so stacked on horror comics. We'll be good for like years.
I love horror comics.
The thing I worry about is Christmas comics. Like we're going to be spread pretty thin.
Yeah, we already did the naughty list, which is that's a book. That's one of the books of all time.
Yeah.
Daniel.
Nathan.
Jeremy Kirby, the grandson of Jack Kirby, the king.
Yeah, he has the Twitter account.
He has a Twitter account. He's also coming out with a book now available. It's called Jack Kirby, A Personal Look, and it's a rare photographic look into the king of comics.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah, which is pretty cool because he's always sharing shit on Twitter.
Yeah, he's like, look at this sticky note I found.
Look at this random piece of paper I found of like the coolest looking character of all time. He didn't think it was good enough.
This is a scribble of like fucking Iron Man or some shit.
Yeah, and it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And he's always got that like style where they're like fucking running, but they're somehow horizontal or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I love that shit. So that's pretty cool.
That is very neat. Is that coming out from like Marvel or something, or just one of those?
It's just like a book,
Cool.
not like a comic book.
Yeah.
But it's coming out via Amazon, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, via Amazon. It's on like Kindle Unlimited, but it's also just out digitally other places. So
Don't pay for that shit.
yeah. So Jack Kirby, A Personal Look, pretty cool.
Nathan, we got a new book called Blood Tree coming from Image. What?
It just sounds like a
I'll find the fucking art. So that
It just sounds like dartboard like idea.
All right, blood. Here we go.
Okay.
Next word. We gotta get going. Tree.
It sounds like a Mad Lib. They're like, what's scary thing? And then what's a thing?
No, it looks really cool actually.
Blood tree.
Shit it. All right, so that's some of the artwork coming from Peter J. Tomasi.
Oh, cool.
Art by Maxim Simic.
Not familiar with him.
Neither am I.
That's cool.
But looks pretty cool.
Let me some Tomasi.
Yeah. Let's see that. Oh, two obsessed NYPD detectives hunt for a vicious butcher called the Angel Killer, a sociopath who preys on the innocent family members known murderers in order to purify the rest of society.
So he kills a family of murderers.
Yeah.
So like Dahmer's dad should be scared.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, gotcha.
Dahmer's mom.
Dahmer's mom.
Dahmer's little brother.
Yeah.
Watch out.
No one knows much about him. It seems.
What's that dude's name?
Evan Peters.
No. The writer of that book we read.
Oh, Durf McDurf.
Yeah, Durf McDurf better run.
He was a friend.
Yeah, I know, but close enough.
Yeah, close enough.
No, it was Durf Backdurf.
Durf Backdurf. Yeah, sorry. Why did I say McDurf? It just sounds right.
I didn't question you for a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming February 1st from Image.
Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips' new book called Night Fever, out June 14th.
Oh, we got the release date on that?
Yeah.
We did have that news quite some time ago.
Yeah. Pretty cool, though.
Yeah, that's something not related to the Reckless comic books.
But it's just a new thing.
Just a new thing.
Seems a bit more, has like a lot more mystery.
I think it's like a
Mystical,
murder
sorry.
mystery kind
Yeah.
of thing. I don't know.
It's kind of like a mystical twist, I think.
Still going to buy that shit no matter what.
So pretty cool.
And then not read it for like 3 years.
Greg Rucka has a new series called Forged coming out from Image. First issue I saw is $6. So that's going to be a tough sell. It's called Forged. And it's set in the 11th millennium of the rule of the Eternal Empress. And it follows a squad of planet-smashing super soldiers who find their routine mission to be anything but, with Mike Henderson. So that's the thing. And then
Like people, like I do think creators should make money, but damn, 6 is like
that's
tough
a lot of money
to get behind.
even
you
if
know?
it's like double issue, whatever.
like oversized. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's like a double-sized issue, like 48 pages.
I'd rather have a normal sized first issue that is like
Normally priced.
$3.99 or something.
Yeah, I agree.
But you know,
We'll see. Also, the podcast / company Sketched and Tiny Onion Studios, the
James Tinian Company or whatever.
they're partnering for a year-long series of monthly interviews about the business of comics.
wow.
And that's going to be like a monthly thing for a year, starting with the first one that's out now. And it's today's deep dive into the state of things at the open of 2023, which is pretty cool. So open to like non-subscribers of that website. But
Yeah, that's crazy because I just listened to Tinian's episode like today
yeah,
about
he like approached him about that. What's his name?
David Harper.
Dave Harper. Yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah. So apparently Tinian approached him to like do this collaboration, which I think is pretty cool. So
He was really cool to listen to, and I'm already reading most of his books, so I'm not like, he doesn't need to convince me to buy anything. But
exactly.
it was just cool to hear how he talked about things.
Yeah. So now you can either, I think it's a, yeah.
So,
I would assume
Spotify, is it a part of Sketched or whatever?
it's part of sketched.com, but it might be a thing on Spotify. I don't know if it's just like a completely text thing though. I didn't look too deep into it, but that's pretty cool. He tweeted it from Sketched Comics, so SKTCHD comic.
Yeah.
And so that's there. I assume it's like a written interview then.
Oh, a written interview?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem very fun.
Nope. I don't want to read. I think that's everything I had.
Cool. Nathan, what book did we read this week?
Then we read Flex Mentallo
We sure did.
by Grant Morrison, Frank Quitely, which is not his real name, I found out.
No, it's quite frankly.
Well, yeah, that's like what the name is based off of, but his name is not quite
Oh,
frankly.
he didn't just switch his name around as
No.
a clever alias?
No. That would be cool, though.
Yeah, of course his guy's real fucking name.
I don't know. I think it's a good enough name.
Yeah. The Man of Muscle Mystery.
Yeah. So I understood about 15% of this book, I would say. And
This
then I
might be one of the most difficult comics to describe.
Yeah.
know?
I had to like look up a little bit on it to see if I can get like a little bit more clarity and context on it. And it makes a little bit more sense to me now. But even like a lot of them are like, it's confusing. It's all over the place. Pretty good, I would say.
Yeah, I liked it.
I think Frank Quitely has a really good way of interpreting some of the insanity, you know?
Yeah.
He has a lot. This is like a really good work from him, I would say. There's like a bunch of just like random heroes that are like created
cool
with really good designs. And some of them you'll see for like 2 panels, you know?
Yeah, maybe even one.
He's really good at that. And I think we know that from Jupiter, for the Jupiter ascending and
based
whatever.
on like just this cover. I was thinking that this is going to be like a much more cheery and bright kind of comic, but there's actually like a lot of dark stuff in it. He's got like a fucking, what do you call it? Like a pea coat. He's walking around. It's nighttime. He's being a detective, you know?
Yeah, he is being a detective in it. So the thing that I think he's supposed to be going for, or what people interpret it as, is that each issue, there's 4 issues, is like a different age in comics. So like it starts off with like the golden age and then progressively gets like a little bit darker into like, you know, the Frank Miller era of comics and stuff, where it gets a little bit more depressing. Whereas in the beginning, it's like kind of bright and cheery and silly. That's why there's like cartoon bombs and stuff in the beginning. And then towards the later part of it, there's like a lot of heroin and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, or just like drugs.
Okay, I didn't pick up on that.
I didn't either. And kind of going through it does make some sense, but there's still some parts that I'm just straight up confused about. So I'm going to keep it a little bit general.
Sure. The narration is kind of hard to place.
It is because it switches.
Yeah, and there's no like different colors. Or anything.
The colors are the same. Also, is Flex Mentallo real? It's like not clear.
Kind of.
Not really, but he probably is, but he's not.
I was hoping to like learn more about like Flex Mentallo and like his powers and capabilities, what each muscle does.
He flexes his muscles and alters reality.
That's like what one of them does, you know, like they all do different things.
Oh, do they?
You know, according to the Doom Patrol show, which is the only basis I have for this.
Right.
But you'd think like a book focusing on like one character, one kind of bizarre character in this bizarre team would kind of, you would learn everything about him, you know?
That's true. I don't really know much about him.
I just know that he's in it.
He just happens to be the main character, I think, of like a completely different story, I feel like.
Yeah.
This is a Vertigo book, which is why it's kind of funky.
Yeah.
I would say, or at least gives Grant Morrison the space to be a little bit funky. But yeah, definitely a meta book for sure. So we'll get into it. So issue 1, which I guess is supposed to be like the golden age, but there's like some men from a group called Faculty X that are dropping cartoon bombs in public places, like at the airport where Flex Mentallo likes to go to just to hang out, apparently.
Just to people watch a little bit.
Yeah, which is strange because it's a bitch and a half to get to the airport.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna go get a breakfast sandwich here, is what he says. There's a crazy beginning to this because it like over like the first 2 pages, it like morphs reality, like a bomb goes off and then the explosion or whatever morphs into just like an egg that's being cooked at the airport. And I'm like, this is sick, just kind of off the get-go. But so he goes to a police station to inform the lieutenant, and the lieutenant hands him a fact card, which is basically a calling card for a guy named The Fact, who's a fictional character created by Wally Sage as a kid. And then we see Wally grown up, and he's like hopped up on drugs, and like he finds his old comics, which is explaining like that very scene of Flex going to the police, you know?
Meaning that like he
like imagined that scenario, but Flex is convinced that he's real because of his creator, Wally Sage, but The Fact has stayed fictional. And so he's like, oh, is The Fact like for real now?
Yeah.
I should go find him and see what he knows about these bombs. And I wish that they would like have met at some point to make that clear. I think it's kind of just up to you whether he's real or not, or maybe they do explain it at the end. It's kind of confusing.
I don't think so.
So Flex Mentallo looks ginormous and incredible.
An absolute unit.
He is a big hairy man, and I think that's sick.
That's his best quality.
Like Quitely can fucking draw, dude, because we see like some of these other comic book characters that Wally Sage has created, and there's one where he's just like just a man made of wax, and I'm like, that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Or there's like an origami man which I think is pretty fun too.
A lot of ideas thrown at the wall.
Yeah, there are.
Doesn't he kind of look like Joaquin Phoenix in this panel?
He does, dude. I was trying to figure out. Something went off in my brain, and I'm like, I've seen that guy.
I was like, oh.
I don't think it was based off Joaquin Phoenix. I don't think it was big at this time.
How crazy would it be if there's a Joaquin Phoenix Flex Mentallo movie?
Oh, man. Same universe as Joker?
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. So, yeah, Flex thinks that the fact has been brought to life as well, and he wants to find him. And so he ends up at like an abandoned school for sidekicks that's no longer in operation, but it still has a janitor who's there, and he's just like mopping. And he has another bomb encounter somewhere else, but the guy gets away. And then meanwhile, Wally is talking on like his toy car phone, and he's venting to somebody, and he's planning to commit suicide via overdose.
Yeah, I think it's like maybe a suicide hotline or something.
I think it's supposed to be a suicide hotline, but no one ever talked back to him.
Yeah.
And so I think that the phone doesn't work because it's a toy car that turns into a phone.
Yeah.
And so I think he's just really talking to himself.
Probably. The thing that I liked about the janitor is that he's actually like a super, right?
Yeah.
He's got like these like god level powers, but he just like chooses not to use them.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's like, I mean, obviously it's a reference to like Shazam.
Oh, okay.
Because he has to mutter like a word, and then he turns into that god, and he finds out that what the word is from a crossword puzzle. And it seems like the crossword is just missing the Z and the M in Shazam. Like there's a panel like right here.
Oh, actually?
Yeah. SHA blank.
I did not pick up on that.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, this is DC, so he can do that, you know? So I just don't know I don't know. So, because it's not in like DC continuity, like some Vertigo books will be sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Like Sandman was technically, but this one seems pretty different. And so, yeah, it's interesting that like Wally is talking to like the suicide prevention hotline, I assume. And he's just like talking about comics and like the state of comics. He's like, you know, I'm going to end it all, but I want to talk to somebody about something. So he's just going to talk about comics.
Yeah.
And so issue 2, this is supposed to be like the Silver Age. So Flex Mentallo now has proof that the fact is in the real world, because when he tried to stop the next bomber, he finds like a photo booth strip, and it has like the fact's name or the fact's face on it. So he's like, okay, this guy is real. He fights a villain named Mentallium Man, who has like different powers based on the material that he would use on his head.
Yeah, pretty cool design.
It is a really cool design.
It's like just
balls of like
there.
balls of material that he'll switch to take the place of his head.
Yeah.
And they all do a different thing. And there's definitely some Grant Morrison ideas in here, because the pink one makes you explore complex issues of gender and sexuality, which is pretty forthcoming from when this book was created, because I think it was made in like 96, you know?
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, something like that.
This book is as old as me?
It tells you like in the covers, like the publication date.
Oh.
So
can we trust those?
So yeah, number 2 came out July 96. Yeah. Cool. So, which is sounds right. That's like when Vertigo was a thing.
That means I was like 3 months old.
Why didn't you pick it up?
Dude, I didn't know.
That's true. They didn't have good marketing for 3-year-old.
We didn't have comic shops by our house.
Yeah. That's true. So it's their fault. Actually, we had Atomic Comics near the mall, but that was still kind of out of the way. This comic jumps back and forth a lot in this issue, because there's like a fish bowl that I think Wally Sage has, and there's a part of it that takes place within that fish bowl, but because there's like a castle in there, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. So one of the powers that Mentallium Man has is like this black one, and he can turn Flex into somebody else, which then hints that he turns into Wally Sage at some point. So that's like a thing that happens. But then like we see Flex later, and we see there's a separate guy that's in a bathroom that takes a drug called Crystal, and that lets him feel like Superman and see reality for what it really is. And then he dies kind of in the hands of Flex Mentallo, who's trying to help him.
Yeah, he like ODs.
Which is such a Grant Morrison concept, I would say. Like, take drugs and you see things for how they really are. But this is such a sick page.
Oh, yeah. Pretty crazy.
Someone said that he's supposed to mimic, like, Commandy. from DC,
Oh, sure.
which it kind of, I mean, he's just a guy with long blonde hair who's shirtless.
Yeah.
But there's like a couple panels where he kind of looks more like him when he takes the drug or whatever. And I don't know. But yeah, when he takes that drug, he sees like multiple realities. Maybe it's like Crisis on Infinite Earths or some shit. He becomes cosmically aware, which is a really cool panel. But yeah, really, really sick work from Quietly, from what I assume is a very abstract and hard to grasp concept from Morrison's script. So I really enjoy this page a lot. And then Wally talks more like about the Silver Age of comics, like getting super weird, and it involves more like aliens and people like turning into animals and stuff. And then Flex Mentallo goes to a bar to try and find someone who's seen the fact, and it finds out that the Legion of Legions is a thing, and the fact is part of the Legion of Legions. And then he finds out that there's a teleport tube that can take you to the Legion HQ.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that happen in this bar scene, more so than I thought. There's like a villain who's tattooed her whole body, and she just kind of like flashes him basically.
Yeah.
But she's tattooed over everything that would be like, I don't know,
Revealing?
nudity.
You mean nipples?
Her nips. Yeah. But
Nips
she's
are
tattooed
tattooed.
everywhere. She still has a thong on or whatever. I'm like, this is just weird. This is a very like Morrison thing to do as well.
This is my favorite part. What are you talking about?
I like that Mentallo goes to a bar and he just asks for a glass of milk. Which is so hard if you think about it.
Yeah.
There's a spaceman who says that he's seen the Legion of Legions.
He's like an astronaut. He's not like a spaceman.
Yeah, he is an astronaut. He's like, I saw them. Them bitches are in a satellite and they're looking at us. And now he's kind of like paranoid.
They just kind of remind me of like the Authority right now, just like how they are just kind of in space.
Yeah.
And like no one really like sees them kind of thing.
Exactly.
But really fun like cast of characters here.
Yeah. And this astronaut is like, they could be hiding amongst us like right now. Like they could be here in this bar. And there's a dude in this bar that looks a lot like an old Clark Kent. And it's definitely supposed to mimic him because he's got like a newspaper and like the little fedora hat. And he definitely looks like a Superman-esque character. So people are saying...
Yeah, an empty bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, which is not a super Superman thing to do.
You've noticed so many things I just did not
This is
notice.
not stuff that I noticed.
Oh.
I was like looking up to try and figure out more about
this is your cheat code stuff?
Yeah, I cheated on this one quite a bit.
Okay. That's okay.
But like it is very clear, or at least he was colored so that he would be like kind of noticed in this page because the whole color is kind of like sepia tone almost.
Yeah, in the bar scene.
Yeah, in the bar scene, but like this guy's very clearly colored to be a Superman-esque figure. So that's just kind of like an interesting concept, I guess.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's like a teleport tube that he's got to go to.
So I thought this was like the question outside of the bar.
Oh, yeah. The guy that tells him about the teleport tube, definitely the question.
Yeah, it is? Okay.
I mean,
because
who else could it be? It's a guy with no face, and he's got a detective hat
The
thing.
fact looks like that.
Yeah?
With different clothes.
Yeah, but he knows that he's like, oh, this isn't the fact. This is a different guy with no face.
Hold on. He's like, but then he's like, I'll tell you the future. Does the question know the future?
I don't know.
Yeah, so I was just kind of thrown off by it.
Yeah.
And then he gets like some coins from him or whatever, and then he poofs.
Yeah, he just goes away.
Question can't poof.
I'm like, what? That's why I'm so confused. I'm like, I don't know. Also, Wally Sage is like seeing the infinite Earths or something as he's like overdosing or whatever.
Yeah, that's
But this is supposed to be the intro to darker, like Frank Miller-esque comics. And you can kind of tell because the cover for issue 3 kind of looks like a DKR type thing.
What do you mean kind of? It is the DKR one.
It could be assumed that this is a reference to DKR.
This cover is better than the DKR cover.
It really is,
because it's Flex Mentallo and you can see his leopard print undies. Which is way cooler than Batman.
It is. I want this more than I want this original art more than the Frank Miller one that's over $1 million.
Yeah, I want a cover that's as old as me.
Yeah. So now we're in.
Dang, this shit was $250 when it came out. It seems kind of expensive for the time.
Well, it's like more than 24 issues or 24 pages per issue.
Oh, is it?
It's like 30 something. I would say.
So
I mean, the whole book's like
value
120 and there's 4 issues, so it's like about 30.
Nathan, we don't have a motto, but our motto should be, "Who needs girls when you have comics?"
I know. That's a quote that happened at some point in this book, but it's like the pretense before the story starts.
Yeah, like War Dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, like that. Good movie.
Good movie.
So yeah, issue 3. The owner of the bar that Flex was at, his name's Harry. He's got a wife that's sick with a brain tumor that he's like taking care of.
Wait, is this Harry?
This is Harry.
Harry's the guy at the bar.
Harry's the guy at the bar.
I thought he was like a detective.
No, that was the lieutenant. The lieutenant never comes in again. These guys look very similar, but he was talking about Flex at the bar.
But doesn't the lieutenant have the fishbowl later?
Hold on, let me go back. Maybe I do have this backwards. Oh, yeah, you're right. This is the lieutenant.
So
his name is still Harry, but he was not the bar guy. He's the lieutenant.
Is the bar guy's name Harry? Did we get the bar guy's name?
I don't think so. I just thought fat white man must be the bar guy that we just saw.
No, the bar guy's not bald. Harry is bald.
Yes.
Okay,
I messed that up. But regardless, his name is Harry, and he's taking care of his wife. She's very sick. She passes away, and she later passes on, and Harry meets this guy called the Hoaxer.
You were saying like Harry meets, and I was like
Sally. No, the Hoaxer, Daniel, in his prison cell.
Yeah, we don't need Sally. We got the Hoaxer.
Yeah, and they're starting to plan something. I love this page of Flex in his like coat in the rain. It's just so silly looking, you know.
For some reason, I think like his knees are so funny.
Dude, he's got some hairy ass legs.
Because like when you have shoes and no pants on, I just think it's hilarious. Because like your hairy knees are exposed.
He's got like boots. You know, what do you even call those?
Dude,
like they're like crazy. Like
I wish I could be in the
boots.
shape to be Flex Mentallo for Halloween or something.
That would be so sick, and people would just think that you're a sex offender. But if you're buff enough, you can pull it off.
That's what I'm saying. I need to get a hairier chest.
Yeah,
and legs.
That's my fitness goal: is be buff enough to not look like a pedophile in a Flex Mentallo cosplay.
Because if you're super big, be like, oh, that guy's not a pedophile. He's just a bodybuilder.
Yeah, he's just weird. You know,
he's just huge.
But if you're not huge, you're just weird.
Huge guys aren't weird.
Yeah, exactly. So part of the thing that drives home that this is like gritty comics, there's obviously a lot of lightning. Anytime we see Wally, he's got the very like shaded eyes. Kind of looks like some other Vertigo books called like The Sandman, perhaps. Maybe.
There was a lot. Oh my God, dude. I'm glad you looked up that shit on Reddit.
Well, that's one that I came up with. Cause I'm like, he definitely looks like The Sandman.
But it makes sense to what you're saying. Because like, I kept saying like, this guy looks like fucking Morpheus.
Yeah, Morpheus. Also, Harry is saying things like the heroes have abandoned us and stuff. So it's like comics used to be like this bright, colorful thing. And then around the 90s, it like somehow turned into like very dark, gritty stuff that is like, you know, similar. There's more like gritty, realistic stuff, you know, I guess.
Sure.
And so
like Savage Dragon.
Correct. So like the bright, colorful heroes that we used to read all the time have now turned into like this kind of gritty, realistic kind of thing. Mm-hmm. That's the idea, I think. So Harry and Hoaxer start to plan something. Meanwhile, Sage still talks on the phone about the state of comics during what I assume is like Cold War paranoia. And so when he was a kid, there was a bunch of like propaganda or like magazines kind of talking about like war and bombs, and there's a lot of paranoia around that. And at one point he like draws his own comics, but he draws his own porn and he like nuts on it, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to see Frank Quitely draw someone drawing porn and then nutting on it, you know. There's something about that that's very deep to me.
Yeah, it's not obvious, heavily implied.
Yeah, because he's making a nutting face, and then the next panel is like a bomb going off. So I don't know if you saw that, but yeah, it's very heavily
I did
implied.
not connect the dots there.
Yeah, but so Flex Mentallo, he's walking around in a sewer, and then he runs into like some Faculty X people. He gets attacked, and then somehow he ends up in a nightclub spelled with a K.
So it's Batman's club,
pretty much, and it's full of just horny superheroes. It's like a adult nightclub thing, and they're all like kind of reaching for him and trying to stop him from reaching the teleport tube that is in this club for some reason.
That's where I'd put a teleport tube.
So like, is every hero of the Legion of Legions going through this nightclub to go to this teleport tube?
Yeah, it's a commute.
Yeah. And like, can anybody just go in? You know, I feel like a lot of people would,
if you can resist, Nathan.
Yeah, it's insane. But yeah, this is like Hero-gasm before the boys did it.
Yeah,
which is insane because there's a lot going on here. You know,
there sure is.
There's big people, there's stretchy people, there's alien looking people. Yeah. They're all just getting down.
There's people flying.
Yeah. All like very unique designs as well.
There's like these 3 people like flying, but they're also melting into other people. I don't know.
There's a hero that's on a leash to a very muscular man. That's not Flex Mentallo.
Yep.
So that's kinky.
I like the giant. That'd be nice, you know.
The giant.
And there's a boob window. It's a boob under boob window.
It's still a boob window.
Yeah, but under boob window. We've never seen this before.
It's a downstairs window.
Not quite.
So, yeah. There are people that are like melting. I don't know what's going on there. It's crazy.
Me neither.
There's a lot going on here, but Flex is just like, I'm really uncomfortable here. Even though he looks like the kind of guy that would be into something like this because of his costume, he's just kind of like walking around. He's like, where is this teleport to?
He's not meant to be objectified, Nathan.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he still kind of represents like Golden Age comics kind of deal.
Yeah.
So also, I think just kind of in the age of like this age of comics, gritty stuff, things definitely got like more horny. And so it feels kind of weird to have like this Golden Age hero kind of walking around in this time kind of deal.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he is trying to get to the teleport tube. We don't know if he gets it. And then Wally Sage has some more trippy ideas and thoughts. Maybe he was molested as a kid. I don't really know what that was.
He just kept talking about how he was in like some room with like other kids.
Yeah.
And he's holding someone's hand. He doesn't know who it is.
At one point he was an alien. In this issue, it's one of the Legion of Legions people.
Yeah.
And this guy's supposed to resemble the Spectre, I think.
Oh, okay.
Which makes sense. But it's not super clear what's happening there. I think he got molested as a kid. Just if I were to guess.
Based off of this, it seems it's leaning towards that, but it ends up not being the case.
Oh yeah, exactly. So then issue 4, which is the last issue. I don't know if this like resembles any particular age, maybe modern. I don't know. But we see the Legion of Legions having a meeting saying that they need to save reality from becoming fiction by the Absolute, which is like this big supernova looking thing that's turning their reality to fiction. Meanwhile, Flex Mentallo ends up getting through to the teleport tube, and then kind of soon after, Harry and the Hoax get through to the teleport tube as well, because everybody's dead after that in the nightclub.
It's because they failed.
They all just start getting violent with each other, as it's described.
Sorry, a weird detail that I thought was funny in the last issue. It's some like flashback where a villain called the Counting Tree is holding Flex Mentallo hostage. And then he's depending on his old pal, Walter Ego.
Oh, that's such a good name.
To try and get him out of it.
Yeah.
And if you look, the Counting Tree's speech bubbles are just little trees.
Oh, that's so good.
And
oh my God, you're right.
I was like, oh, that's genius.
And it like grows coins or something.
I have no fucking clue.
I didn't look at this tree too much, but it's got an eyeball towards like the base of the tree. That's how it counts, obviously. Yeah, Walter Ego, I think, is a really good name for.
That seems like something that'd be in like Invincible.
Well, like that's like it does actually, but also that would be like a Golden Age comic book, which is I think is what this panel is supposed to represent, because it immediately goes from being dark in a sewer to like him having a flashback to like one of the experiences he's had, and it's immediately very bright, you know.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But yeah, issue 4, Legion of Legions, their shit's about to become fiction, whatever. I think. I might be mostly lost in this issue, but this is like Frank Quitely's best issue in this series for sure. Because
I like the Hero-gasm issue personally.
That's a good one. But I like seeing just these completely unique superheroes. There's ones that are small and stuff, and like all these like original designs. Also, this like scene where he's being teleported through the teleport tube. Are you kidding me?
Dude, shit like that is so confusing to me, like how well done it is, you know?
I don't even... Yeah, I
like, how do you start drawing this?
I can't even understand. Yeah. It's awesome. And then, like, when he gets to the Legion, like, HQ, there's, like, Faculty X people that are, like, creating the stage or something. I don't even understand what that's supposed to, like, be.
I think it's, like, So here's what I picked up from this issue, right? Mm-hmm. We'll obviously go through the rest of it, but the overarching thing that I think happened is that the Legion of Legions like created the world because they were escaping their own reality that was being destroyed by
the absolute.
The absolute. Yeah, but they weren't able to create it because they needed this dude. What's his name?
Wally Sage.
They needed Sage to create it like for them when he was like a child.
Correct.
Okay, so
that's kind of, yeah.
But
essentially what ends up happening is that there's Nano Man and Minimus. Good names.
Great names.
They go into like the miniverse, basically some quantum stuff. They end up in Wally's head. And they basically plant their reality into Wally Sage's head so that he could create it in comics.
Yeah.
So comics are actually an interpretation of reality or something like that.
But are a reality in themselves. And Wally can choose which reality he wants to be in.
Exactly. I think.
Yeah, because he's planning on like unaliving himself by overdosing.
Yeah.
But in certain realities, like his pills are M&Ms.
M&Ms. And he takes a lot of them.
Takes a lot of them.
Thank God I'm in the reality where those are M&Ms because I fucking destroy M&Ms.
Is it... dude, the fucking mini M&Ms, I'm just like dumping them.
I know, yeah. Imagine if that was, medication.
The whole little
Sleeping
tube
pills.
of M&Ms in one mouthful.
Yeah.
But
if sleeping pills taste like mini M&Ms, I would be dead.
would never wake up.
Yeah.
I would have a Yoda nap,
Exactly. So yeah, Wally Sage realizes that this is the reality that somehow got planted in his head. I think it's through the quantum mini stuff. And comics are just the truth about reality. Perhaps. And then Flex meets like the villain who has claimed to have displaced the fact through time, but it turns out the fact is actually Faculty X trying to leave like a breadcrumb trail for Flex Mentallo to meet the villain. So
sure.
So I guess like Faculty X, all of the people were the fact the whole time. Which is whatever. And so I'm just going to run through what I understand to be the rest of this comic.
Okay, go for it.
It's very crazy. So Sage is going nuts. He's like, are these M&Ms or are these pills? Am I going to kill myself? I think I am. And he hears the Legion of Legions in the car toy phone. It's the first time we hear anything come out of that phone. And I think they're actually in his brain, it seems like. And so the villain gets tricked into thinking that he kills the hoax when the hoax and Harry go meet him, but he gets hoaxed himself and is revealed to be...
Can't hoax the hoax.
He can't. And so the hoax reveals the villain to be a young, like 16-year-old Wally Sage, and he's disgruntled by like the world. And so he hid inside comics. But then that was the time when comics got like dark and depressing, just like reality. But Flex Mentallo has always kind of been like this beacon of like golden age comics that are like actual escapism. Mm-hmm. And so Flex Mentallo takes the 16-year-old Wally Sage and kind of like shows him the way to like positivity in comics or something.
But as he's saying that, it goes to some pages of drawn of him saying that.
Yeah. And so it's really him coming to that realization himself, but it's actually Flex Mentallo in his mind. Something like that.
Someone who doesn't know what we're talking about probably thinks you're describing this poorly, but you're like nailing it.
I think I am.
But it is like just that.
It's basically
difficult of a book.
Yeah, it is. It's just like a comic about comics, but it's like not at the same time. So
it might be like slightly autobiographical, just talking about like his
like
Grant Morrison's like ideas and stuff. And
and he's like taking drugs and he's like, man, comics are so fucking gritty and real nowadays. I just wanted them to be like about Shazam, And so,
but he finishes that crossword puzzle, and the last two letters are M and N. So the magic word was shaman.
Shaman, yes. So it was supposed to be Shazam, ends up being shaman. I read a little bit about that. I can't remember what it was, but there's basically some abstract shit where he remembers that shaman word, and I think the comic people, I think they get into our brain. Like the Legion of Legions, because there's a part where it's like, programming the reader or whatever, and they're like, okay, here's what your DNA is. I don't know. It seems like they're getting into our brains now. through the captions of this comic, and then comics become real or something. I don't know. Because
and that's the book.
the last page is just a bunch of heroes flying in space. One of them's definitely Superman, but you could say that it's not.
Oh, okay, I see.
One of them's definitely John Jones. Actually, he's not in this. He was in a different panel, I think.
John Johns.
But yeah, that's the comic.
And we had fun with it. There's one guy that kind of looks like the Tick, like just to the lower left of Superman.
Oh yeah, you're right. There was a guy that looked like Batman, but he didn't have like a cape. He kind of looked like a mixture between Wildcat and Batman. He had like Wildcat's like suit, but then like a Batman cowl kind of deal. I saw that at one point. I did see like a Martian Manhunter looking motherfucker, but anyway, that's the comic.
Sure is.
Not my favorite collaboration between them because it's hard to understand from Grant Morrison's side, I guess.
Sure.
I'm not crazy about Grant Morrison.
I like him. I'm trying to think about other things that I've read by him there. I'm like...
All-Star. Superman.
Okay, yeah.
Not even my favorite Superman story, you know?
So Grant Morrison's still pretty good.
I think that people that say that All-Star Superman's their favorite haven't read a whole lot of comics.
Or a lot of Superman.
Which might be, yeah, or a lot of Superman, right. And I think, you know, if you do like it genuinely because of Grant Morrison's style, that's sick. Good for you.
That is like a good one, though, you know?
It is good, but like, I think there's better Superman stories out there.
Sure. I think the best thing about this is like the artwork, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what keeps me going.
Just the fact that Frank was able to translate everything that Grant was saying and put it on the page is like very impressive.
That's a feat of its own.
On top of just his great artwork.
He has to draw a comic about comics, and a lot of time there's comics inside of this comic, and so he has to draw not like himself, which is very convincing.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, he's definitely done a good job with a lot of this abstract stuff.
Conceptually a little bit like over my head,
sure.
But like
me too.
There were definitely still things that I liked about the writing, and obviously the things that were drawn were written to be in it, you know? So
yeah,
there's more of that. Like I liked what I was seeing more than what I was reading kind of thing.
I agree. Also, there's no chance that anybody understood this reading it month to month or whatever it came out, like single issues.
That'd be a tough one.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad that I didn't grow up in this era because I'd be so confused.
I'd be confused at every book I picked up.
I know.
What's happening again? You know? But yeah. Apparently there's some hints towards like the Invisibles as well in somewhere in this book. I just have never read that, but that's a thing in this comic as well. Let's get into Back Matter Matters, Daniel.
Back Matter Matters.
Here's some sketches and thumbnails and stuff by Frank Quitely, and he's a fucking beast even when he's just like penciling some shit out.
So good.
And there's a couple scanned in pages that are just Frank doodling on top of like Grant Morrison's script, which is really cool because he's just like reading it and he's like, oh, here's what this is gonna look like. I'll doodle this incredible photo or this incredible panel in like 2 minutes probably is what it took him. So he's really good at just doing that. But there's also some splash pages that he draws out, and it's very loose, so you can kind of see him like getting the ideas out there. But there's still like a lot of perspective in just like this little splash page doodle that he's made. Yeah,
definitely.
So a lot of that now comes naturally to him.
Oh, so it shows the progression of like the last issue cover. He like shows what he looks like falling, and then he does all the little...
And he kind of builds on that from there.
Post-it notes or whatever.
Yeah, which is really cool to see. So we got a lot of that, and we see the final part of that, and then we see some black and white pages of Flex Mentallo. So when we see the Wax Man, when we see the dude take the drugs, the crystal drug, and see reality for what it really is, that's a really cool black and white page or pencil page. And we see just a couple black and white inked pages, which is sick. And then one final picture of Flex doing the what's that pose called? Isn't that like a famous like bodybuilding pose?
It's kind of like a mixture. So the leg position that he's doing is like the front like chest thing that you do, but then he's doing like the back muscle thing. So it's like kind of a combination of things.
Gotcha. And that's Flex Mentallo. So let's get into the pull list. What do you rate this book, Daniel?
I give it a pretty good like it. It's gonna have gummy worms in it. It's gonna have M&Ms in it. It's gonna have all kinds of weird stuff that just kind of work.
I give this a protein shake.
Okay.
1 scoop, but it's like a new protein that you're gonna try out, and you're like, I like this company.
What flavor?
It's vanilla.
Really? You think this is a vanilla book?
Okay, yeah. I changed my answer. It's a flavor that you're like, I don't know what this even means.
Okay.
It's like rainbow electric unicorn or something.
Yeah. Okay.
And you're like, okay, I think I'll like this.
Sure.
And then you try it out, and you're like, this is different than what I thought it was
Don't
going to
hate
taste like. But I'll keep reading it, or
Okay.
I'll keep using it.
You know what? This is the
until it's
like
done.
it of protein ice cream, Nathan. Halo Top.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because it's definitely like the collaboration that I tend to enjoy. It just was a little bit different than I thought it was going to be.
I think so. I've never heard of this this book, and so I was like, oh, why don't people talk about this? So I think it's like properly rated.
I would
if
say
you've
so.
read it, you know what it is, and people probably feel the same way you do about it.
Yeah.
But it's not like up there with like their other collaborations.
I wonder who like reads this and is like, I understand everything that happened.
People on drugs.
It must be. Or I say I'm like stupid when I read things sometimes, and sometimes I actually feel that way. But like, surely this is something that you really need to like focus on and like reread a bunch of times and like to like truly understand. But it's not a bad thing.
Not good to read with like a TV in front of you, which is I did, and it took like days.
Oh, dude, same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sophie was watching like Wednesday, and I was trying to read, and I was like, it's a good show though. Anyway, let's go into the poll list. Colin.
Shove it in your box. The poll list. What did you shove in your box?
Dana, what did you pick up from the comic book store this week?
And then I got, hesitantly, I got Nemesis Reloaded, number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping
We'll see how that goes.
Mark Miller can just kind of build from what he's set down, the foundation that he's paved, and hopefully it's mostly for Jorge Jimenez's art.
Absolutely.
And just seeing him on this character. But hopefully Mark has just kind of been a little bit better as a writer, because a lot of his stuff that he's more well known for hadn't come out
when he did the original Nemesis.
When he did the original one, yeah. So I'm hoping that this one will be better.
Yeah,
I'll give it just the 1 issue.
Yeah, I didn't get the chance to go today, but I'm going to pick it up as well because Jorge Jimenez is the best.
Yeah,
and I'm definitely going to jump in like blind because I haven't read the original Nemesis like you have.
Sure.
So I'm interested to see what our experiences are like reading that.
There's not a lot to tell.
That's what I figured. He doesn't seem like a very like deep character.
Not very. It's just okay. So
and
like
I
the
assume
difference
that he
between
knows
like
that people maybe have not read the original series. So
probably because of how much time has passed. But he's like the most like one-dimensional character I've like ever read. Mm-hmm. Like how the different dimensions work with characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a bad guy because he's evil.
Great.
Yeah, that's it.
I love that.
So,
yeah. We need more of that.
So I got that. I got Human Target number 10.
Of course.
I got 10,000 Black Feathers number 5. I also got 4, which I didn't get last time it came out, which is good because I don't know if it's a reprint or whatever. I don't care. Mm-hmm. Got Danger Street number 2. Haven't read 1. Mm-hmm. And got Predator number 6.
I'm picking up most of those things.
I thought I was just going to have 1 book this week and was flirting with buying a trade. And then I also forgot that I hadn't been to the shop in a couple weeks. So I spent $66.
That's a thick bag.
It is a thick bag. Could barely hold on.
Weeks? Like how many? Like 3?
Like 3.
Okay. So that's like pretty solid per week average.
Like last time I went, I think we had read One Star Squadron.
Okay.
So a couple weeks.
Yeah. Very good.
What about you? What'd you get?
What
are you going to get?
I picked up some of those things that you said, and I don't know what else is coming out beyond that, to be honest.
Alrighty.
So,
did you read anything, Nathan?
I read Chroma number 2 written and drawn and I think colored by Lorenzo De Felici, who's the guy that did Oblivion Song with Robert Kirkman.
Yeah.
And it's the second issue of it, and it's still really good,
nice.
Honestly. I like when a writer-artist can write and art something, and it's like pretty good, actually. And it like takes the comics. It takes comics to like tell the story. You know, that's what it feels like.
Yeah,
and because it utilizes like color as like part of the story, but it utilizes it in a way that like only comics could, I think.
Is this the one with like the color lady in the tower or whatever?
Yeah, everybody's black and white because they're scared.
No Mexicans.
But like it's only like one little town that's walled off that's black and white, so like all the buildings are white and stuff, and you're like, this is weird.
Yeah.
But there's a girl that has colored eyes, different colored eyes, and they're like, she's a demon, obviously, so we'll keep her up in this tower. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes they have to go gather resources and go outside into like the scary, colorful forest.
Yeah.
And so we learned a little bit more in this issue on why they decided to make a black and white town.
Because it's a gay forest.
It could be. No, but
I
think
keep
it's
all
like,
the gay out there.
it's pretty good. Like I think I wasn't sure like what to take from it. Like the first issue is really good, but I'm like, okay, where are we gonna go with this? You know?
Yeah.
And there was another pretty big cliffhanger for this one as well. Also, they're like oversized, but like the books have like a spine, like one of those like little spines, you know?
Uh-huh.
Like if it was like 5 pages less, it would just be like a big comic book.
Yeah.
But it has like its own like little spine kind of thing. So
Nice.
pretty good. I'm enjoying it. And Lorenzo like writes like a little blurb after each one, and he was talking about like how he was going to do this in like Europe, and it was only going to be published in like Europe, and no one wanted it. And then he was approached by Robert Kirkman to do Oblivion Song, and so like he was originally going to do this Chroma book before Oblivion Song, and then he worked with Robert Kirkman and asked him if he wanted to do it, and it took like one email to get it approved.
Oh, sick. So
Yeah.
is it Skybound?
It's a Skybound book, I think. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's nice.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. I'm rooting for him, you know?
Yeah.
I played the Midnight Suns video game.
Oh, yeah. How'd that go?
It's pretty good.
As the game that is, it's like a strategy game kind of.
It's like a turn-based strategy game, RPS. I don't know how to describe games, but it's a turn-based thing where you like recruit different heroes and you got to defeat these like villains, right? Or, you know, minions or whatever. And you get like a stack of cards that end up being like abilities for each hero to use for each turn, right?
So it's Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh, but if Yu-Gi-Oh was like just like heroes kind of fighting, I would say. But like, so it's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh, but there's also like a spatial aspect to like the game, because like you can move your heroes to like one part of the battlefield.
So it's like chess.
I would say the closest comparison you can make is that it's an XCOM game. If you haven't played XCOM, which I know you have not, it's like
You don't know my life.
It's like, what's your favorite XCOM game? Name one character, because I know I can't.
XCOM 1, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Oh, character?
Yeah. John XCOM. But yeah,
Ex-comrade.
of course, yeah, you gotta love Ex-comrade. He carries a franchise, truly.
That's what I'm saying. He's like the Master Chief of
Exactly,
XCOM.
he's the John Halo of Halo. So yeah, the best way to describe it is just Yu-Gi-Oh and chess, I guess.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
So it's very interesting because
Do you like it?
I love it,
Okay.
but it's definitely not because of like the graphics.
Oh, okay.
It feels like a PS2 game.
So is it something you strictly play multiplayer on?
No, it's like a strictly single player game.
Like story mode kind of thing?
Story mode, yeah.
Wow.
Story's pretty good, I would say. It's kind of based around like the magical elements of Marvel. So you see a lot of more magical characters you don't normally see. But
So
then there's
Avengers Dark.
kind of.
Okay.
I know what you mean by that.
Yeah.
And that's not a thing that equates to Marvel.
Or,
But
yeah,
Midnight Suns is like a series, I think, that was like magical characters. So
Sure.
there's like magic from the X-Men that's in it.
Perfect for the bill.
Yeah. Doctor Strange is in it. There's like a bunch of sort of
Wolverine.
Wolverine is it there?
Very
there's
magical.
like weird ones too, you know.
Isn't Ghost Rider in it?
Ghost Rider's in it, but that makes more sense because he's got some mystical stuff and whatever. But
Sure.
yeah, then like Captain America's in it,
Wow.
and you like create your own hero, and he's such a douchebag. But like I made him look like a douchebag.
That's what you would be if you were a hero.
Yeah, exactly. But it's fun.
You have to send me a picture of him when you do it.
he looks awful.
There's gonna be a Star Wars game that's like more open world, and you get to like create like your own character kind of thing, and I'm pretty stoked for that.
Like a Knights of the Republic, Old Republic.
I've never played that game, but it's like kind of like a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Okay. I doubt
Tony
that.
Hawk's Underground 2.
Okay.
Where you create your character or whatever, and then you just go fuck about.
Okay. Probably some KOTOR, but
is that what you do in KOTOR?
Yeah.
Have you played KOTOR?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's a long game. But yeah, Midnight Suns is interesting because you can like have relationships with the different heroes.
Nice.
Like it's Sims. And I haven't like gotten strictly to this point yet, but
you can smash Wolverine.
My buddy Parker plays the game. I'm actually going to pull up the text that he sent me because it's insane that this is like real and in a video game. He said, I just took the Ghost Rider out to pick mushrooms in the forest, and then I gave him a little girl's music box as a gift. Yeah, I don't mean to flex, but we're fucking. And I'm like, I can't believe that's a real sentence you just texted me. Because knowing what I knew about the game, like I didn't know that there's this aspect of the game where you can like talk to people and like
of course
respond.
Parker like finds that.
Yeah. And so like you can have like relationships where people like you based off what you do with them, sort of at like the home base kind of deal. And so that's an interesting aspect of it as well. But strategically, it's like really fun. It's fun to use like the different characters and see which ones have like synergy with each other. So I think it's a pretty good game.
Nice. Very interesting.
Did you watch anything?
You asked me what I read, Nathan.
What'd you read, Daniel?
Yeah, I read a little book. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Step by Bloody Step.
Ooh. No, I've heard of it. What's it about?
I actually didn't read it. I just kind of looked at it, you know?
Yeah. Did you look at everything?
Yeah, I looked at all of it.
Okay, cool. What'd you think? It's pretty good. You can't deny it's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, it was really good. I didn't need this kind of like emotional damage like on a Tuesday.
I know. Dude, like
I was just like, all right, let's see what this shit's about. I'm like, no.
I know, dude. There's a page where I like audibly gasped.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh fuck. You know? And it's awesome, dude. It's like such a good book.
Once that page came, I'm like, I don't even know I'm still reading this.
I know.
And then I did. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
isn't it funny that you like know like the prince's name kind of?
T.
Yeah, T. T with like a dot or whatever.
Yeah. And then he puts on this like hat and it's like a fancy T.
Yeah. It's such a fun book, and like it's crazy that there's like no words except for like a random language that you obviously can't speak.
Yeah, man.
But like I understood
know what they're saying.
I understood everything, you know.
So obviously, like
except for like the end, kind of.
A lot of the splash pages and stuff are like super cool and stuff like that. But there were like some panels where I'm like, I don't know what that's supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Sure.
There's maybe it's just a style I'm not used to. Maybe rereading it, I'll like pick up on what's happening.
But do you understand why we made him the best penciler for a book that came out?
Yeah, no, I'm cool with that now.
Yeah, it's
like,
awesome.
I'm fine with that.
Like such a mystical world, and every like splash page is like full with like just unique ideas, and it's colored so fucking good, right?
Yeah, good colors.
Yeah, so it was really cool. It just like felt like something that would be in like an anime or something, but it just happened to be like comic that was
anime. Like a mini like silent anime movie thing.
Yeah,
that's like just all score, you know.
Yeah, it was
be really sick.
Very interesting series. So I was eating it up every issue.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if I would have kept buying it if I just picked up like the first issue, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great trade, like
for sure.
Reading it like all, I didn't read it in like one shot, but like reading it like together is like super solid way to go about it.
Yeah,
I'm surprised that Image like greenlit that sort of thing. You think it'd be on something on like Boom or like on Boom or like Oni Press? Just like when you are
silent books are tough to sell, I think.
Right, and just having any kind of idea that seems like it's a bit out there and doesn't seem that marketable. It seems like it just is not Image and goes somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Really?
Just like in my head, like.
Because I think Image can put out some shit for sure.
Yeah, they definitely put out some ass stuff. Like I used to buy like every Image #1, right?
Yeah.
And normally they're fine. And then there's just this year where there's too many. What the fuck is this? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so, anyway.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I've been watching The Sopranos. We watched like a season in like a day. And
nice.
There's this one part that I wanted to tell you. So Tony Soprano, he's in like a house, right?
Okay.
And there's like someone's got a statue of like a Buddha there. And the person's house is like, oh, he really does help. And then Tony Soprano's like, yeah, he's a regular Captain Marvel. And I'm like,
he means like DC Captain Marvel.
yeah, he means Shazam.
Wow.
Probably because from like the Shazam TV show, which I think was a thing back in the day.
Probably.
And so I just thought it was like an outlandish kind of reference, but maybe at that time it was like,
I think at that time, normal. Pretty big. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny. I wrote it down.
You're like, that's a comic book thing.
Yeah. Did you watch anything?
I watched one episode of Kaleidoscope.
Oh, yeah. How's that?
It's pretty good, I would say.
Did you watch the White episode or whatever?
I only watched one episode. So like the idea is that it's like a heist sort of thing, but every episode is named a different color and everybody gets a different order of colors in their Netflix. And so you
can also just watch in any order, but make sure that the last one is like the last episode you watch.
Yeah. And so I started with green. And I was like, this feels like it would be like the start of a show. So I don't know like how every episode is supposed to feel like this while also giving you more context about it.
Maybe because I think everyone is assigned a color in the heist. It's kind of like Reservoir Dogs.
Sure.
You know, and so maybe it's just all their different perspectives on it. Did it seem like it was kind of following one person?
It followed like Giancarlo Esposito.
Okay, so he's Mr. Green or whatever.
I guess so, but it seems like most of the series is like revolved around him specifically. Maybe. I don't know.
You only watched one episode.
I've only watched one episode, so literally, I can't say anything about this because it's just a normal show to me at this point.
Yeah, I've heard it's good and it looks cool. So
looks good, looks cool. In this episode, he like gets out of prison. It's like a prison escape. I've only seen him act like Gus in like 4 different like TV shows.
Yeah.
And video games. He's in like a Far Cry video game, same character basically.
Yeah.
And he's not Gus in this, and I enjoy that a lot.
Cool.
He's got some range in there. He almost cries at one point.
Yeah.
So pretty cool.
Yeah, he's like been in like other things.
He's still very smart. You know?
Sure.
But like a lot of the things I've seen him in, he's just the same character. And so, but yeah, I haven't seen him in something where he's not Gus, but I liked it. It was good.
Huh. Did you watch anything else?
No, I don't think so.
I watched a movie called The Menu.
Oh, yeah.
It's on HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw the trailer. Like, yeah. So I watched the trailer. I'm like, that looks kind of dumb.
It does.
You know what I mean? So I watched it. It's like super weird. Like, it's a pretty weird movie.
People seem to like it, though.
It like throughout the whole thing, it just kind of keeps you guessing, like keeps you on your toes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it is like pretty interesting as like it goes on. But because like I think it went to HBO Max pretty soon after its release, people were pretty like hyped about it. So a lot of people it was in like their top 10 of the year or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe recency biased. So I just I think it was just like a little bit overhyped.
Okay.
From what it actually is. But I think it was like as good as like the trailer makes it look. You know, like whatever you thought in the trailer is probably as good as.
That's what your experience is going to be in the movie.
Yeah. There's definitely some things where I'm like, I don't know about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is like an interesting thing. And I don't think it necessarily wrapped up with like the neatest bow, but I think it makes enough sense.
Someone like texted me to like recommend that movie to me, which is.
Have you texted them frequently? Like
I think it was like Parker. I can't remember who it was specifically, but it was like one of my friends. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like a horror movie. So you watch it with like Sophia. It's like, I guess thriller-ish, but it's not like.
I could tell it's not a horror, but I could tell some of the concepts in there are like. It's not.
It's just like.
I know. It's just a movie.
It's just like a little creepy, and people kind of throw it in that like genre, I guess. But it's kind of a reach for like horror, you know?
Okay.
So I just thought it was not a waste of time, and definitely weird, you know?
Yeah.
Not the weirdest thing you've ever seen.
Sure.
But yeah.
Nice.
So Nathan, what are we gonna read next week? What are we gonna read next week?
Don't we have something in line?
We're reading Old Man Logan, Nathan,
yes,
by Mark Miller and Steve
McNiven.
Steve McNiven, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, right?
I don't think so.
I'll look it up.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
So the thing is I know I have a copy of this, a physical copy. I gave it someone to read, like at my house or at my apartment, and I don't know where it is. I've asked everyone I've lent comics to, and they don't have it.
Might be at my house. So
You don't have your own copy?
It is Steve McNiven.
Got him. You don't have your own copy? Why would I give you a copy of Old Man Logan?
I think we both read this when we lived together.
Right.
One of us bought it. I'm not pointing fingers as to who, because we don't know.
I don't remember.
And I think I just took it when I moved out.
Because I remember having it when you moved out. When you were moved out.
But did I buy it?
Probably.
It seems like something I would have bought.
I probably can.
But it seems like something you would have bought. So.
I can remember buying each comic that I have. I think.
I don't think so. If you put our comics together, like our trades.
Oh, dude! Remember when you moved out and we just had to split up our comics?
And I'm like, who's got this like random?
I was like, did you buy this shit? Because there were so many things that we both read.
Like, who has this Justice League trade?
Because if you went to the comic shop before me, I would see what you bought and not buy it.
Yeah, and then you would just read the thing that I bought.
Yeah,
but then like I could have sworn that I bought Red Hood. Probably.
Oh, Under the Red Hood?
Under the Red Hood, yeah.
No, I bought that. I remember buying it on Amazon.
But I think I remember like reading it and being like, this is cool. I like that this is my comic, or I got that twisted at some point in my head when I was moving out. But yeah, it was a big pain in the ass.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure if we even split it up correctly.
Probably not. No.
Yeah, anyway.
So I think I might have it. I'll bring it if I do. So that you can just have it?
You can have it.
Okay.
I can probably find like a different copy.
All right, I'll keep it.
Because it is something I want to have physically.
Yeah, it's good trade.
Good trade.
So
yeah, Old Man Logan next week.
Let's go.
Check out our Linktree in the meantime.
Yes, sir.
Go to the accounts, follow, like, subscribe. You can email us at tradewaiterspod@gmail.com. You can tell us what to read.
Any comic book suggestions?
Suggestions.
You got a weirder Grant Morrison thing? Please don't suggest that. Maybe do a good Grant Morrison thing. I heard Joe the Barbarian from him is pretty good.
I've never even fucking heard of it.
It's with Sean Gordon Murphy, which is a very good artist.
Is that recent?
No.
Because I didn't know Sean Gordon Murphy existed before White Knight. So
no, he did Chrononauts with Mark Miller.
Did he? Okay, that makes sense. Gotcha.
Anyway, recommend some stuff,
Yeah, try me.
We read the weird stuff.
I don't even think we've read all this stuff that one dude Sam recommended us.
Yeah, Sam, we're getting to it.
We'll get around to it.
There's that Brian Lee O'Malley one that I want to get to. There's a fourth one that you suggested as well. We're getting to it.
I think it was Descender. Didn't you say Descender?
It was Descender, yeah. Or Ascender. I think it was Descender, but we should definitely read Descender.
Descender was first.
Yeah.
So he fell and then rose.
We haven't forgot it. So.
And that's the show.
Suggest some stuff, yeah. Go follow us, and thanks for listening or watching. If you're watching, I love you more.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.